Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pooja Sengupta, and I'm going to present the insights and the results from our sustainability experiments that we conducted at the University of Calcutta-LISA Stat Lab, or the CU-LISA Stat Lab. Now, before we begin, I'd like to tell you about the LISA Stat Lab of Calcutta University. We are currently about 250 members strong, where this slide shows us all the core members of the LISA 2020 team at Calcutta University. Professor Bhashwati Ganguly is the principal investigator of the project, and some of us are consultants working on this project. And here are some of the interns who are working on the LISA 2020 team alongside us. Now, why did we feel the need to conduct the sustainability experiments? Well, mostly Calcutta University LISA Lab was forging collaborative relationship with the academic community, and to some extent with the corporates as well. And we had also developed quite a comfortable alliance with some of the other LISA Stat labs as well. So we are in the process of working with a couple of other LISA labs on research papers on which we are collaborating, and we hope to publish them in future. However, we did realize there was a potential for us to reach out to more members, especially from the industry. And we were also unaware of what the conditions were that hindered us from reaching out to more people who were relevant, who could be relevant and valuable members of this project. So in order to conduct these experiments, we had taken a very simple strategy. We conceived the strategy for designing our experiment with an agenda that we wanted to devise some simple questionnaire. We wanted to ask, and from the responses to those questionnaires, we wanted to find out what exactly were the shortfalls of the current LISA lab and how we could improve upon those shortfalls. So briefly, to outline the experiments, there were 3 specific experiments that we had designed. And accordingly, we had also drawn up the target groups who we would be administering our survey questionnaires to. So the first group of individuals were the already existing members of the Stat Lab. So we have so far only resorted to using informal method of collaborating and informal forums for finding out exactly what kind of collaboration, what kind of help the LISA lab could extend in terms of statistics and data science practices, methodology-wise, application-wise, and such. While conducting the experiment, we wanted to concretely find out through a regimented questionnaire that exactly where did we lack, and that most of all we wanted to hear from the existing members. And then another experiment was conducted where the questionnaires were sent out to potential members, mostly from the industry, because this was the group of individuals we thought still remained untapped. And the third was administered to the existing LISA labs, other LISA labs. So as I've mentioned, we have already been conducting collaborative research with a couple of other LISA labs, but we would like to extend our collaboration to other labs as well. Now, after administering the questionnaires in the form of Google form, from the data that we got, I'm about to present some of the key findings. So one of the major findings from the survey conducted on the already existing LISA members was the breakup of the individuals, especially from academia and the departments that they belong to. So as you can see, computer science, statistics, and management, although most of the members dominantly are from these areas, we also have some representation from different types of disciplines as well. For example, economics, physics. information technology, medical sciences. So they also make up a good portion of the members of the existing LISA group. And out of these members, we had asked them how frequently they would be interested in discussing their data science problems, because that's one of the objectives of the LISA lab, to extend any help in the form of data science as a solution to the data science or statistics problems. And based on the responses that we've got, so about 31.3% people, they would like to engage regularly. And we have a WhatsApp group where we have all the members who post their queries and who discuss their data science problems. And about 31.3 of them are quite regular. And exactly 50% of them are frequently conducting their data science collaboration through these forums. And when I say frequently, mostly people who are at least active once a week. And there's 18.8% people who did opt for the option that they would like to have these discussions. However, it would not be possible for them to physically have a face-to-face discussion, but they would rather prefer some other virtual platform like WhatsApp and such. And in which of the areas they would like more discussions on. So this was quite insightful. This was directly helping us understand, if we were to design workshops and knowledge sharing sessions, so what are the areas that we should be focusing on. So as you can see, mostly domain-specific statistical methods is what people are really looking for when they reach out to the LISA Stat Lab members. And also they are more inclined towards learning computation through computing languages, programming languages like R and Python. These are mostly predominant. However, we also have some requests about workshops conducted on basic statistical methods, especially for people from academia and background where they have not had much exposure to mathematics, statistics, and data science. Now, a couple of open-ended questions were also asked to the existing members, and this is a word cloud generated from most of the commonly appearing words in the responses that they had given. And as you can see, most of the predominant words are workshops, data science, sessions, and industry. So as you can understand that industry is one of our focuses, is one of the areas that we would like to tap into to get more potential members. And workshops, we have considered more workshops, and we already have conducted workshops under the banner of LISA 2020. So moving on, we did ask a few of the existing LISA labs, other LISA labs, that whether they would be interested in extending their hand in collaborating with us, and if yes, what kind of areas they would like to discuss their research areas on. And as it's clear from the responses that we've got, particularly spatial data analysis was a specific request from one of the LISA labs, where methodological and applicable methodologies from the spatial data analysis was required by one of the other LISA labs, and they had reached out to us because some of our LISA lab members, they are working in the area of spatial data analysis. So these kind of knowledge sharing sessions were requested by some of the other LISA labs. At the same time, machine learning and statistical computation, they are also one of the popular areas of collaboration that has been mentioned by other LISA labs. And one of the major findings from the same experiment which was conducted on the other LISA lab members, that gave us an idea of exactly what the barriers were in way of collaboration between the different labs. So this was directly helping us understand whether there was any area that we could work on, which was under our control, to improve the collaboration between different LISA labs. And here, for each of the different types of barriers, they were asked to rate on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the least significant barrier and 5 being the most significant. What's important to note here is, if you look at funding, funding happens to be one of the constraints in the way of collaboration. And as you can see, the frequency of 5, the frequency of the response 5, that represents high significant barrier, is the maximum in case of funding. So this is something that we could look forward to improve in future. However, there are a couple of constraints, like choice of common virtual platform, cultural differences, where we do not have as such any votes for 5, which represents the highest significant barrier. So nowadays we are living in a global village. So culture and time difference, things like these, and after the COVID pandemic, we've got so used to the virtual platform that time difference and cultural differences, they don't matter as much when we talk about collaboration between people across the globe. Finally, the last experiment which was conducted, which was administered on people who from the industry who could potentially become important members of the LISA lab. So we have found that the few areas that they would be really interested in collaborating, or they would like to see more work on from LISA's side, that would be project implementation and implementation of programming languages like R and Python. As we have also seen, this is one of the very popular areas which even the other LISA members would also like to see work on from our side. So we also see the domain-specific statistical methods, because people from different industrial domains, they have responded to our questionnaire. So specific to their domain, whatever statistical problems they run into, or data science problems they run into, they would like to be able to ask us for help, and we would like to extend our helping hand in order to solve these problems. So from these 3 experiments, the final insight and some of the way forward that we have been able to figure out, that we have on our to-do list at this point, is conducting statistical methods workshop and have knowledge sharing sessions. So it shouldn't be one way, but a two-way kind of interaction, where areas of specialization, based on areas of specialization, we could collaborate and have a knowledge sharing session. And we could also conduct joint working sessions with industry persons and academia, and involve internship opportunities as well, which could be taken forward to project proposals, and that would help us in getting funding as well. So we could also make our presence felt. This was one of the points highlighted by the industry people, that they are not very aware of the work that LISA Lab does. So the presence can be made felt on specific websites, or we could use social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and such. And as for one of the barriers that the other LISA labs talked about, which was cultural differences, we could plan soft skill trainings as well, which helps removing such cultural barriers. And finally, some common email ID can be shared with the members, so that whatever workshop, training, or collaborative research requests comes through those emails, we have a complete list so that we can work upon them on a systematic manner. And that is all from my side. Thank you very much.